Hey, thank you for having me, SunnySide. Glad to have an outlet for this insane hobby I've recently picked up. Writing jokes. I hope you want to do it. I found out recently I have a weird fondness for real estate agents. Anybody else like real estate agents out there? I think what I like about real estate agents is they have this kind of dual nature I find amusing. They have to be very presentable, unlike myself. They have unnaturally white teeth. It's not off-putting at all. They tuck in their shirts, which I also don't identify with. The weird thing about real estate agents is that they kind of have to solicit themselves too, like a brand, like a person. So what I'm getting at is real estate agents kind of remind me of prostitutes, just different outfits. You can find either one of them at any given corner or bus stop. And the term curb appeal is equally applicable to both of them for different reasons. I think the only important difference between real estate agents and prostitutes is after you spend time with a prostitute, you feel a little less fucked than you do with a real estate agent. My wife facilitated the purchase of our house. We're both paying for it, but she did all the work. She bypassed the real estate agent that I think so highly of. I think that's a badass move. I've never known anybody who did that before, honestly. She also is the only woman to ever recommend a porn site to me. I've had a lot of dudes, we talk about porn sites maybe a little too much. I've never had a woman recommend a porn site to me. And in a weird, maybe act of chivalry, it's the only porn site I look at when I do look at porn. That's like the modern digital chivalry. It's just like endorsed pornography. I'm not saying it's the key to longevity in a relationship, but we've been together for almost 10 years, and I want to gently encourage anyone out there looking for love and longevity in a relationship. You should probably tell that person you like what kind of porn you like, and maybe you'll stay together for 10 years in a house without a real estate agent.
It's too weird.
I hope you don't mind me taking notes. I wrote down a set. I was just admiring that I tried to write my set on this side of this sheet of paper. Can you see the border around it that kind of makes it hard to read? The back side is blank and white, and I didn't notice that until about 10 seconds before coming on stage. About pornography, I don't care for any porn that even insinuates an incestuous relationship. I know that's very controversial, but I am a hero. If I could Thanos snap all of the step-bro porn out there, I definitely would. It's totally unnecessary and weird. But I want to comfort you and remind you that I'm not here to kink shame. We all gotta get the poison out, sometimes it's through weird ways. Because I once accidentally watched a low-budget, live-action pornographic movie. It had tentacles in it, but they were made out of paper mache. And to be perfectly honest, it was the cinephile in me, it was the movie enthusiast that made me skip through and see where this low-budget monstrosity went. It was definitely filmed in the garage of a duplex. They had like two scrawny crackheads on the right, and then this like paper mache lump that someone was clearly under, like undulating, and there was a fishing pole over it that was out of shot, but you could see the entire shadow of the fishing pole. So just all the magic of the movies was gone, because I knew how they accomplished this special effect feat. There was a lot of duct tape, there was incredibly harsh lighting, and a couple of dildos at the end of the fishing pole. It was fucked up. But I watched it. And then I tried to watch it again, just so I could prove that I didn't make it up. I can't find it. So now I'm terrified that I made up that situation. But purely from a cinematic side, I'm fascinated by that. I think that's really cool. More low-budget, made-for-home porno should be out there. And less stuck porn and step bros. Does anyone here like the movie The Big Lebowski by the Coen brothers? Jeff Bridges. I watched that movie so much, I shouldn't watch it anymore. It's obnoxious. It became part of my personality. I so much as went out and purchased the porn parody of The Big Lebowski. Has anyone else seen this cinematic masterpiece? It's kind of amazing in its own right. Its originality from a cinematic perspective. Here's the scenario. They took the original Big Lebowski. Remember the opening scene when the dude's paying for a check? Or he's paying for his half and half for his White Russians with a check for 69 cents, and he's got a milk mustache. And the cashier behind her is a little TV, and there's George H. Bush Sr., and he's saying, this aggression against Kuwait will not stand. And the dude references that later. This aggression will not stand, man. So when they made a porn parody of that scene, what they did with it is they got a man, a porn star, to dress up like George H. Bush, and another man to dress up like Saddam Hussein. And then they double teamed the chick in like a camo bikini. And I think that's spectacular writing. I've never seen someone try that hard in a porno to pay homage to the Coen brothers. And I think they deserve a little more credit than they probably got for making the Big Lebowski porno parody. Here's another weird porn parody that I am going to tell you about. There was this weird moment when David Letterman came under fire for making fun of Sarah Palin's adult daughter. Does anyone remember this? It became kind of like the water cooler debate if children of celebrities or famous people were, fair game for criticism and scrutiny. And so porn stepped in to translate it for some people. And there's an adult movie depicting somebody dressed like David Letterman having sex with an actress dressed like Sarah Palin. And it's called David Letterman and Sarah Palin Kiss and Make Up. And that's a weird moment for the zeitgeist, for us to get our news from that porn about that fairly obscure social message. But I'm still really impressed that porn could dig in occasionally, not make a low-budget monster porn in a garage, but actually have some social commentary. I was trying to explain to my wife, remember she recommended the only website I look at. I was telling her sometimes you might trip upon adult cinema that you didn't intend to. I told her I looked up something I thought was fairly innocuous, like big sloppy tits. And I happened upon a video that depicted a necrophilia play, which I was really kind of horrified, and again, from a cinematic perspective, fairly curious in. But it depicted this horrible scene of a man raping the body of a woman. And I finished telling my wife that horrifying confessional story, and she said, "What makes big tits sloppy, huh? What's your problem with big sloppy tits?" It's like, "No, babe, remember at the beginning I liked them, so I was looking for her. It's cool." She missed the point of that story about awful things on the internet. Ron White, famous comedian, he has a joke where he claims to prove that all straight men are a little bit gay because they watch porn that usually has men with really large penises in them. And to a degree, I agree with him that everybody's probably a little bit more gay than they're willing to admit. But I gotta tell you, those big dicks in porn, they make me feel really insecure. They make me really uncomfortable with my perfectly average sized penis. And, yeah. Does anyone here know the average length of the male penis?
5.5 inches.
No popular women in the crowd? No
I just answered.
fun guys at the party?
5.5 inches.
It's 5.16 inches.
Okay, I was off by.
You can Google that right now. And while I'm flattered by that information, I find it a little amusing too. What's amusing about the number 5.16 inches is that inches are in the standardized system that we use. Inches.
Your inches or
we
my
use
inches?
fractions after the inches. We use the decimal system. That's a standard system. Standard system uses decimal system. So the average length penis is 5.16 inches. So it starts standard with the 5, and then it goes metric halfway through. So what I'm saying is the average penis is trans. Even your penis, especially your penis, is trans. I lost my dad recently to cancer last summer. It was a huge bummer for me. Has anybody here seen their dad's penis? Anyone? Nobody? One really enthusiastic person? I feel like there's almost 3 categories of these types of dads. There's like the one dad, classic dad, let's call him. Classic dad doesn't know that he's supposed to put it away. It's just out all the time. Just terrifying everybody at home. And then there's a new age dad, my dad. He knew to keep his penis away and never let anyone see it. Living with a dad who has a penis you haven't seen is like living with a ghost. Because you know it's there, but you have no evidence. You just know. It terrifies you like a ghost. I'll finish with one more uncomfortable truth for you all. I'm sure you're not ready for it. When you see your dad's penis on his deathbed, you kind of become a head case about it. And I did. I became a weirdly comparative person. I finally knew. In the worst way possible. But then I remembered something. The way genetics works is you get a little bit from your mom and your dad. And just because you and your dad happen to have the same genitals, you didn't necessarily get the DNA to make your genitals that way. So what I'm trying to enlighten you all to the fact is that you might have your mom's dick. You might have gotten your pussy from your dad. And that's a tough truth. And now we all have to wrestle with that. I'll leave you guys with that. I had a really good time out here. I hope you enjoyed it too.